welcome to Ars Libri, an everyman's journey through Western literature, where we explore the literary arts book by book, reading, retelling, and reclaiming our rich heritage. Okay, so tell me about Door in the Wall by Marguerite de Angeli.
Well, it is a children's book set in late medieval England, 1300s. So this is going to be the time of the Black Death, the bubonic plague.
The Black Death?
Right.
Is the bubonic plague?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. What?
Yes. It was yucky, caused by like the rats and the sewage and all this.
What a lovely setting.
Yeah.
For a children's story.
It's also during a time of war. There were lots of wars going on.
So war and death in the Middle Ages.
Right.
This is like children love this.
Story.
Yeah.
It's great. Mostly after the Crusades. I don't remember. You probably know when the last crusade was, but most of that was in the past. But it's still a time of knights and squires and pages and men going with
By the way, there were
kings.
knights all the way until today still, but they were active knights fighting as knights up till World War I.
Yeah.
So when people say, oh, it was still a time of knights, there's still knights today. Sir Roger Scruton is a sir. I think he died recently. But anyway, there are still people who are knighted today. But the last time that knights actually fought as knights, specifically and not as just a bunch of army personnel, like we have these bureaucratic armies today, was World War I.
Yeah.
And that really stopped it because of the machine guns and the cannons and the gas and stuff like that.
Well, this is knighthood in a sense of they are vassals of the king. The king can call upon them to do his bidding, and they in turn call upon their vassals. And
okay, here's my point though. Sorry, I don't mean to derail this conversation, but the king can still do that today. King of England, if you're listening, you can still do that. There's still time for you to take up the crown and do this. This is C.S. Lewis's Space Trilogy. The third book of that is basically the royalty of England realizing what it can do. It can still do this. You're not just this symbolic thing anymore. Sorry.
So what about America? Because we don't have a monarchy. Are we toast?
Well, some people say we need to come back to the crown. I don't say that.
Give us a monarchy.
I don't say that. Probably what's going to happen in America is that we never have a king. We just go straight to an emperor. He might be called a tyrant or something. I don't ever think that we'll achieve royalty. We may achieve tyranny. We may have a tyrant.
Or a dictator.
But not a royal, benign King Arthur or somebody. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the setting for the Door in the Wall. It was a tumultuous time. It required flexibility of the characters as to location, service, loyalties, education. Everything was subject to change based on the not whims, but based on the needs and desires of their lords, all the way up to the king. So the story begins, the boy, his name is Robin, his parents are both called to their individual duties. His father is a knight. He's called to serve the king and fight. His mother is a lady, so she's called to the queen, who's in ill health, to be a lady in waiting.
Okay.
So this could happen. Your lives could be upended like this. Even, I would say, this affected the nobility even more than the peasants, because the peasants were more tied to the land where they were. But the nobility's lives were often upended this way. And it was a common practice for sons of knights to be sent to other men's castles and to begin service as a page and eventually a squire, and hopefully, if they prove themselves, a knight. So that was common, and usually you were sent to a neighbor or a friend, an ally, something like that. So the book opens with Robin. He is in bed, he's fallen ill, and the bells are ringing. He's in London, and there are churches all around, and the bells are ringing, and it's loud, and he's aggravated by it. We find out that his father has just left to fight in the wars, and his mother has been summoned to the queen, and he is left in the care of the household servants. However, what's rough for him is that just after his parents leave, he falls ill. not with the plague, but with something else. It's never explained really, but because of his illness, he loses the use of his legs. He's mostly crippled, and when the story begins, he's bedridden. Because of the circumstance Robin finds himself in, he's kind of dwelling in self-pity. He develops more of a ill temperament. He's spoiled because everyone just waits on him. There's a scene where the servant woman comes to bring him some food, and he does not want it. He doesn't like her. He doesn't want the food. He wants his parents back. He doesn't like anything about his situation. He doesn't like the bells. Right. He's grumpy. And she offers him the food, and all he can see is how ugly she is and all that, there's no gratitude. And he flings the bowl at her. And she pretty much says, I'm done. Fine, take care of yourself. To a bedridden cripple. Yeah. The son of a knight. She's had enough. But she had also fallen ill. And so she was struggling to care for him. And that was just kind of like the last straw. She'd had enough. However, she's kind enough to tell another servant, a neighboring servant, about his plight, and a monk from a nearby church, a friar, he comes to get Robin, and he takes him with him to the monastery to be cared for. Many, many other sick people were there. All of the monasteries and churches were filled to the brim with the sick. This often happens whenever there's a disaster. In the area I've grown up, there are a lot of floods. Once every other year or so, it seemed like, maybe every couple years. And the churches always become these waypoints of refuge. It's an area, so are fire departments, other places too, become an area where you can bring people for refuge. You just know it. If the church over there is not flooded, there will be people there sleeping in the sanctuary and being fed. You can bring a lot of food there and drop it off. You just know that's a place where you can find refuge. Right. It's common. Right. And these friars took it upon themselves to care for these people. There weren't enough doctors to go around. They took it upon themselves to do this. The friar who comes to Robin is named Brother Luke. Who? Brother Luke. Brother Luke, okay. Yes. He's a main character throughout the story. He comes for Robin to take him to the monastery, but as they prepare to go, Robin tells Brother Luke that he can't walk. It becomes something that Robin is self-conscious of. Throughout the whole book, he's always afraid that people will reject him because he's a cripple. Brother Luke, though, is not disturbed by this, and instead he asks Robin if he remembers the wall around the garden of their house, or any other wall around a tower or castle or such. Robin says, of course. And Brother Luke says, have they not all a door somewhere? Always remember, thou hast only to follow the wall far enough, and there will be a door in it. So this is a theme that Brother Luke reminds Robin of often. We'll explain it later. The door in the wall. More, but yeah, it's a theme. So chapter 2, Robin begins to adjust to life at the monastery, and he begins regaining some of his strength as Brother Luke cares for him. Every time the friar visits Robin, he's massaging his legs. He turns him in bed. He's trying to take measures to benefit Robin to hopefully get his strength back. He's not sure if it will work, but he's at least trying, which is more than any of the other servants were doing. Because Robin is bedridden, the friar suggests he occupy himself by whittling, which does not require much strength, but would be a productive task for him. Whittling? Whittling. Carving with a little knife, just making things out of wood. So they're just trying to keep him busy and productive in some way. Right. I mean, when you're not occupied, that's when you start to be self-introspective and you start to become morose. Yeah. People say that's a problem with a lot of modern psychotherapy or counseling, that it gets you to focus inward, and that's not good. You actually need to kind of forget yourself. Right. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just saying people talk about this, that the best way of getting out of your mental problems is to do other things outside of yourself. Yeah, maybe serve others, or get into working out or exercising, or go find a productive job, or take up painting or something. Don't sit around and think about your mental health. Right. Don't sit around and talk about your mental health. Although
I tend to think it might be helpful to do that a little bit. I'm sure.
It's good to know yourself.
Yeah, know yourself. But you have to be out. But you have to be able to get outside and do something or take your mind off of this.
Yeah, and so this is what Brother Luke is doing for Robin.
Mm-hmm.
He's giving him the gift of productivity. Robin decides to fashion a boat because he's looking forward to being able to float it.
Hold on, a whole boat?
A very small toy boat.
Oh, I thought like
he's not going
that's
to have
huge
a whole log.
Oh yeah, I was gonna whittle a little stick here, but I was gonna do like a whole canoe now from a tree.
A toy sailboat.
Oh my gosh.
That he can float.
Massive.
Brother Luke supplies Robin with the other things he needs, and eventually he's able to do it, and he makes a mast and sails, and he makes his little toy boat.
I see.
After Robin completes the boat, the friar suggests a cross, which Robin is eager to make as a keepsake. He thinks he'll hang it on his bed above him to remember his parents by, and so he's excited about it. As Robin grows stronger, Brother Luke begins carrying him about the monastery to wherever his work may take him. So he just kind of gives him piggyback rides everywhere. Instead of leaving him in his bed, now he's bringing him around. He's beginning to meet other people. His life has become more interesting. They go to the scriptorium, where Robin begs to be taught to read and write.
What is a scriptorium?
A scriptorium was a place in the monastery or church where the monks would sit and copy, usually the Bible, other holy books, things like that. As they leave the scriptorium, on their way back to Robin's cot, they see another boy with lame legs, but he is using crutches. And this boy sees Robin being carried about, and he calls out to him good-naturedly. He calls out laughing and calls him Crookshanks. Robin, being nobility and a bit spoiled, is infuriated by this. But the friar simply laughs at him, and Robin's forced to learn humility through this. He can't dwell on his anger. And so this helps him to see that having lame legs is not the end of all things for him, because he sees another boy dealing with these same problems, but he has a good spirit. He has a good attitude, and he's an example for Robin.
Like Tiny Tim in A Christmas Carol.
Yes.
God bless us, everyone.
Right. Eventually come changes in the seasons, and with the change comes a change in the sickness. People begin to get better.
How long did the Black Plague go on for?
It came and went. It was not like 4 or 5 years necessarily, but it came in waves. There were waves? Mm-hmm. But I think this is the tail end of it.
Okay.
So this is the last, I think. So people are getting better. They begin to leave the monasteries. They're not so full anymore, and this gives the friars and monks more time to do their usual tasks, but also more time for Brother Luke to help Robin. So he begins to teach him to read. He brings him to another monk, Brother Matthew, who helps him finish the cross. He has to learn to attach both pieces of the wood together, and so he has to learn to use new tools to do this. And at first, Robin is clumsy with these new tools, and he lashes out in anger as one of them slips. But Robin, he's angry because he messed up. He almost ruined it, and he has his outburst.
What does he do? Does he throw a tool or something in that moment?
I don't know if he actually throws the tool I think he does. Yeah, he throws the tool. It slips, he throws it, and it almost hits the monk.
Wow. The
tool. And the monk just turns to him and looks at him. He actually doesn't say anything.
Wow.
And Robin the fire is put out.
Wow. You know, I was learning construction when I was a teenager. And I remember working with a man, and I got frustrated with the saw. I had a piece of wood on 2 sawhorses, and I was trying to cut it down the middle with a circular saw, handheld circular saw. And if you know about woodworking, you'll know that as you're cutting that wood, it'll start to bend in as the weight pulls it down, and it'll catch the blade and it'll pull. And I didn't know how to stop it from doing that. And I got frustrated because I tried it a few times, and this saw is loud and it's dangerous. And I'm 16 or something. And I just slammed the circular saw down because I was frustrated. And the guy that I was working with, the main guy, he came over and chewed me out. told me, don't you do that with this and that. You need to calm down and, ask for help. He didn't just look at me sternly like the monk did, but I remember being frustrated just like he's being frustrated right now in the story.
Eventually, Robin expresses his desire to walk, and Brother Luke says, well, in the meantime, since you can't walk. After this, Robin tells Brother Luke that he longs to walk. That's what he's focused on. But Brother Luke tells him, we must teach thy hands to be skillful in many ways, and we must teach thy mind to go about, whether thy legs will carry thee or no. For reading is another door in the wall. Dost understand, my son? So the language, obviously, in the book is old-fashioned. The whole book is written that way, especially the dialogue. The characters speak in this old-fashioned way of the time. So Robin hears this, he understands what the friar is saying, and he again wishes to learn to read and write. However, Brother Luke mentions that a minstrel will soon be accompanying some foot soldiers to join the king, where Robin's father also is. So he says, let's use this as an opportunity to write a letter, and we will use that to try to begin learning how to read and write. So Robin dictates the letter to Brother Luke, who then reads it back to him, and they study it together as his first lesson.
So he's going to learn to read as a means of being productive and write. Right.
So Brother Luke pitches it as a sort of door in the wall. Mm-hmm. So you'll see that there are many. In my understanding, the door in the wall is not necessarily one door and one wall. It's an opportunity. And reading is one of them. So Robin continues his education, but also his whittling. Brother Luke encourages him to make a doll for a poor girl. And Robin at first thinks, what do I want to carve a doll for? But then he gets excited about the idea of actually carving a face. He thinks that he likes the challenge of it. And Brother Luke is sort of passively teaching him charity also. He's doing this for someone else. This is a gift now. He has a skill and he can use it for others. Soon after this, Brother Luke takes Robin fishing. After sitting for a while near the water, another group of boys runs by and splashes into the water for a swim. Robin sees this and wishes he could join them, so Brother Luke says, off with thy jerkin, and he carries him into the water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it goes very well because there's nothing wrong with Robin's arms. It's his legs that are weak. And so Brother Luke sees this and he's like, we're doing this every day. You're coming back here. And so Robin uses his arms. He begins to gain lots of strength in the water.
Does he throw him in?
He carries him in and helps him. No, he doesn't just toss.
We watched a video earlier of a guy who went bungee jumping and he was paralyzed from the legs or from the waist down. And his friends carried him to the edge and threw him off. And he went bungee jumping. He was paralyzed.
That's amazing. I mean, you don't have to worry about breaking something. Like you're already broken.
That dude.
That's a good attitude. I like it. Yeah. The idea, though, is to make Robin strong enough so that he can eventually use crutches. Right now, he doesn't even have the strength for that. So he and Brother Luke visit the other brother, Matthew, who begins to help Robin with making crutches. And Robin's very excited about this, and he actually wants to take on a lot of the work himself. He wants to make his own pair of crutches. Mm-hmm. So he soon does this. He finishes making them, and he begins using them. However, with his new abilities come new tasks. So the monks put him to work a little bit more. They give him more duties, and they have him stand and turn the pages in the missal, like a giant hymn book, as they sing through the hours as they're monks. Robin turns the pages for them. Shortly after this, Robin receives a letter from his father. And this time, he is able to read it on his own, which he's proud of. His father wishes him to journey to Sir Peter Lindsay. This was supposed to happen before Robin fell ill, but then the plague hit very hard. The servants couldn't help him. There was no one to escort him. So his father actually doesn't know that he has fallen ill until he gets the letter that Robin had sent. So he writes back and he says, well, it's better now. I want you to try to go to Sir Peter Lindsay, go to his house, castle. So Brother Luke helps Robin prepare, and the minstrel who delivered the letters decides to accompany them also because it's where he's from, where they're going. So the minstrel's name is John Go in the Wind. There are a few characters who have names like that, like Alan at Gate or different things. They set off on their journey. They are traveling slowly, a walking pace. They do have horses, but the men take turns, and Robin rides. Obviously, he couldn't walk the whole way on his crutches. So they ask directions at one point from a peasant who doesn't lead them wrong. He just wasn't very specific, and they end up taking a wrong turn and getting lost. So this forces them to spend the night just off the road, but they find a hollow tree, and they kind of bank up against the tree to break the wind, and they light a fire, and Robin is loving it. You know, this is the most grand thing he's ever done. He's never been out of the city, and now he gets to travel and do this. In the morning, they set off again, and this time, they don't have to camp outside. They find an inn. It is called the White Hart. Hart spelled like a deer. And they show up, and they're a little bit skeptical. They have some misgivings. It says there are suspicious-looking ruffians, and the woman working it is slatternly. And they're thinking, okay, this might be trouble, but they really don't have options. So they get a room there, and despite Robin's tiredness, he actually has trouble falling into a deep sleep. So they're up, they're asleep, they've been walking all day, but Robin is tossing and turning. He's uneasy. Because he's not sleeping, he overhears the two rough-looking men plotting to come and steal from them. They want to take their money bags, anything like that. They're out for what they can get. So Robin has to wake up the other men without making a noise, though, because the ruffians will hear it. And this is particularly hard for a cripple to do. Yeah. So he kind of pulls himself across the floor on his elbows, trying to get to the other men who are snoring also. And so if he wakes them up, they will stop snoring and the men will hear. So he has to be very careful in how he wakes them. Thankfully, the men one of them is a monk, so he's used to being awakened, and the other is used to being in danger, and he's snoring very loudly. So they wake him up, and he, within seconds, he understands what's happening, and he keeps snoring, awake. So he starts walking around and gathering their things, snoring. He keeps it going.
That's funny.
It is funny. So as quietly as possible, they pack up their things, they tie up the sheets, and they make an escape out the window. And he has to carry Robin on his back to do this because Robin can't climb out. The three of them make it out the window and escape just in time as the ruffians discover their trick and they're able to grab their horses and ride away. The next day, the three of them arrive at Oxford. They had left London, and so they've now traveled to Oxford, and they see signs for a fair. Robin begs to spend time there. They do a little, they go see a few things, but they have to keep moving. They have to keep moving because they still have a few more days of travel before they reach Sir Lindsay's castle. But as they continue, the farther they go, the more dangerous their journey becomes because they are now closer and closer to the Welsh territory, who are enemies at this time. During this time in England, they were often fighting either the Scots or the Welsh. It was almost like always one or the other. And at this point, Robin's father is away fighting the Scots, but the Welsh are still nearby and are not friendly. They come to a large wood, which will take a couple days to travel through, but the minstrel remembers a cottager in the forest who helps them. And the next day, after traveling through the wood, they arrive at the town and the castle belonging to his new lord, Sir Peter Lindsay. So the way that castles were set up, they were always surrounded by almost like a village to each castle. And then outside of that was a wall around the whole thing. So the castle in the center it was the inner part. It was the fortress. It was where all of the townspeople would go if there was trouble. If the outer wall was breached, you run to the inner castle part. So Robin arrives and is awed by it. He's never seen such a grand castle on top of a hill. And he's nervous, though, about meeting Sir Peter, meeting his family, because he's a cripple. And he thinks, what knight would want to have me as their page? This isn't going to work, but he has to. He's there. He has to follow through. Robin tries, as he meets Peter, he tries to offer his services to him. He says, I can read and write and I can do these other things. And he just ends up apologizing, saying, I'm sorry that I'm a cripple, sir. And the knight, though, Sir Peter, is understanding because he has just been fighting in the wars and he has been recovering from wounds. And so he understands what it is to not have your full powers at your use. And so he says, each of us, this is Sir Peter, he says, each of us has his place in the world. If we cannot serve in one way, there is always another. If we do what we are able, a door always open to something else.
Sir Peter sounds like he was a real man because he's this hardened warrior, and you would think, oh, someone of superior physical ability wouldn't be able to identify with a cripple, but actually he is, because of his superior ability puts him in the way of danger where he often becomes, or people like him become crippled. So he knows, I may be strong now, but I'm just mortal flesh like you are. And I have great knights that have been in battle and turned crippled because of it. This is often the case with people who are great athletes. They're great-hearted because they know what failure is. They know what it's like to lose all of this. They themselves have lost. Or they themselves have been beaten by someone stronger than them. Or they themselves one day will be outside of the game and no longer in it. There's a humility that comes with that. And it's often experienced by people who are actually in the battle, in the fight. They know how fickle it is and how quickly it can be taken away.
Right. Yeah, Sir Peter is not at the wars right now because he's recovering from his wounds. All of the other knights are out there with their king, and he's not. So he's feeling it too. So Robin is encouraged by this, and he sees the castle as a friendly place. He's happy he's there, and he settles in. He explores it, and he has to learn to go up and down stairs on crutches. And oftentimes the stairs were round, like circular, centered, or I think it was called a center newel. And so it's stairs that are uneven. You know, they're shorter on one side and then larger on the other. And he has to learn how to navigate all of this on crutches. So it's a challenge, but he's enjoying himself. He visits all of the places in the castle, the stables, the woodcutter, and he carries on with his former hobbies, his woodcutting, his carving, his writing, things like this. And he also makes a new friend, a hound dog named Daff. After this, the weather begins to change again and grow chilly. Autumn is coming, and Brother Luke is still there with him, watching over Robin, and still taking him for a swim each day, which is important. He's still maintaining his strength. His arms are still very strong. Robin then begins working on a harp because the minstrel was there with them, traveling with them, Django in the Wind. And he has a harp, so he shows Robin the basics of how to play it. And Robin's thinking, I want to do this. I want one for my own. And he doesn't ask for one. He decides, I will make one. And so he gets the tools and materials and he begins work on this. And as he's comfortable at the castle, the minstrel decides it's time for him to go. He's done his job. He's going to go visit his mother, who is nearby. You can almost see it from the high point of the castle, but it's very distant still. He says he's going to go visit her in her cottage, but Django in the Wind is very particular with Robin as he tells him the directions to her cottage. He says, if you ever need anything, if you're in danger, if you need my help, memorize the directions. And he goes over it with him, and Robin laughs it off. He's like, yeah, I know the way, it'll be fine. But he makes sure that he knows. That same day, the day that Django in the Wind leaves, a treacherous mist rises, which is the biggest weakness of the castle. So the castle is well fortified, it's on a high hill, it has a spring, a water source, it has all of these good points. But when the fog is there, It is dense, it is heavy, and you can see nothing. You cannot see if there's an enemy camped nearby, if there's an army coming. You're blind in the castle. And sure enough, the nearby Welsh enemies take this opportunity to attack. So this is the day the minstrel has left. Fog comes in, they're all in the castle, the Welsh attack. The problem, though, is that the men in the castle, they have no idea how many men are attacking. They can't see the enemy. They don't know what the forces are or what the situation really looks like. The Welsh soon take the town. They breach the wall and they take over the town, and the townspeople, before it, they're running into the castle. So now you've got the whole population of the town inside this castle, and they're under siege. Now, they can't get out. They try to go out and make a sally to get into the town for supplies, but the Welsh keep them trapped in the castle. They always fight them back. They can't get there, and the fog will not lift. The fog settles for days, and they're stuck, and they're under siege. The supplies are getting low. Obviously, they weren't prepared for this, for having to food and water for all of these extra people. So they're in a tight spot. As this is happening, Robin overhears some men talking about even the well running low. So they're almost out of water, which obviously is awful for all of these people. So Robin decides to go get help. And he makes a plan with these men. He says, give me some peasant clothing. I can't look like a squire or page or something. He's give me some old clothes. I'll look like a shepherd boy. I'll cross the river, because he's used to swimming. He can do this. He says, I'll walk out the castle. I'll cross the river. They'll think I'm a shepherd boy. It'll be fine. I won't be in trouble. And I'll go get John, go in the wind. And I'll have him go for reinforcements, for help. Robin does not tell Sir Peter about his plan, knowing that he would be forbidden. But he does tell Brother Luke, who helps him. He gets him the things that he needs. He gets him ties, because Robin will have to tie his crutches to his back in order to cross the river. And he will then use his crutches to travel to John Go in the Wind's house. So Brother Luke helps him, and as he's leaving, he says a prayer for him, and then he goes, early the next morning, he goes to the castle wall. He has to wait for the sentry to pass by, the Welsh sentry who's guarding, and then Robin slips out. He makes it to the river, which is now very cold, because autumn has set in.
Hold on, he just walked past the Welsh people?
So, no, the Welsh are camped in one part, and they keep sentries to walk around the castle, making sure that no one gets out. So people have tried to get out at one point or another, but they're watching it, they're keeping guard. But Robin's able to slip by. They wait for the sentry to pass.
Okay.
They wait for him to go by, and then he slips out. But you remember, it's foggy.
It's foggy.
So he might have been able to see him for about 5 seconds, before he disappears. He's able to get out. He makes it to the river, which is now very cold. He swims across it. He climbs up the bank, which is actually more like a ravine. He has a lot of trouble. He slips, he falls, and he gets up to the top. And there are some more Welsh there. However, he's outside of the castle and dressed like a shepherd. And so
he's muddy and wet.
Right. They think, oh, look, a cripple fell into the river.
Right.
Come here, boy, we won't hurt you, but Robin kind of plays dumb, and he's thinking like, oh, it's not far to the cottage. I'm all right. And he just goes. He leaves.
They let him go because they don't know who he is.
Right. So he's able to get away. However, he's almost exhausted. He has to go all the way to the minstrel's house. By this time, Robin is quite exhausted, and he gets to the edge of the woods. He sees the cottage, and John Go in the Wind happens to step out. So he yells, John Go in the Wind, help, we need your help. And he looks, and he comes, he runs, he gets Robin, he picks him up, and he carries him to his mother's cottage. He lays him on a cot, and Robin barely has time. He just gives him his message. He says, the castle's under siege, we need help. And Robin pretty much falls asleep. And then John is out.
This is like the battle of marathon runner coming all the way. And at the end, he gives his message and then just collapses.
Yes, that's great. So John is on his way to get help from a nearby family member, actually, like a distant relative of Sir Peter, I think Sir Hugh something. And he goes and he comes back to the cottage for Robin to check on him. And Robin has just been sleeping the entire time. John gets back and Robin wakes up and he thinks, what happened? He doesn't know what's been going on while he's sleeping. And John says, no worries, help is coming. And Robin's thinking, I want to be there. I want to be at the castle for the big rescue, to see everything that's going down. And John Go in the Wind says, me too, let's go. And so he carries him this time on his back, piggyback style, arms around the neck. He carries him, Robin, all the way back to the castle. And because John is a local, he has a friend who lives on the castle wall, I think a shoemaker, and he has already previously developed a special signal. So John Go in the Wind is a minstrel, and if he plays a certain song on his harp, the shoemaker knows he needs help, he's in trouble, he needs to get into the castle. So he hears the song and he lets down a sort of seat attached to a rope. And they wait for the sentry to pass, and then they let it down real quick and then up goes Robin. But then they have to wait again for the sentry to pass. John has to hide. And then he does it again. The rope comes down and up goes John.
I see.
So they both make it into the castle.
Wow.
And they have to go up to the belfry, which is where they will let out the big signal for all of the reinforcements who are coming to say, now is the time to attack. Mm-hmm. So John had made some sort of arrangement of an hour past this time or whatever. So John and Robin are up in the belfry and he says, now we just have to wait a bit. But when the time comes, get down and cover your ears. It's going to be loud. So this is what happens. It's still the middle of the night now. But Robin, he slept during the whole day, a lot of the day. So he's all right. He's wide awake. They're up in the belfry. And then John says it's time. So he rings the bells. The enemies are totally routed. Their friends come, totally take them by surprise. It's a success. It's wonderful. Robin's cheering, they're shouting, everything's great. And John picks up Robin, carries him on his shoulders, and parades him around as the hero. Wow. Because it was Robin who really organized a lot of this. He went for help. He took it upon his own shoulders to do this. Mm-hmm. After the wonderful success, Robin just settles into his duties like he was previously. The weather continues to grow colder as winter now sets in. Robin finishes his harp, and now he's more occupied with thinking of his parents. His hands are less occupied, and so now his mind is wandering more. He's waiting for them to come. He hopes for them to come. There have been rumors of knights returning from the wars, and so Robin is hopeful to see them. He begins a new habit of climbing up to the wall to look as far as he can see, hoping to catch a glimpse of his parents coming back. And on Christmas Eve, as the snow is falling, Robin catches sight of a company of knights and men-at-arms, ladies in waiting, and he sees the banner of the king. He sees it's the king returning with the queen, with the ladies, with all of these people. And he says, I know my parents are among them. They have to be. And they show up, and there they are. Finally, his mother and his father are there. They have a joyful reunion, and they enter the castle just in time to begin the Yuletide celebrations. So toward the end, this is the end of the book. Before it ends, the king is informed of Robin's sacrifice, of the things that Robin has done in order to save the castle. And so publicly, before everyone there, he calls Robin forward, he has him kneel, and he places a jeweled collar around his neck as token of thanks for what he's done. And everyone shouts, Sir Robin. He's a 10-year-old boy. But everyone realizes, what he has done. He
did something that was noble and knightly.
Right. And that was required for a knight. You didn't just get to become one after a certain amount of years.
Yeah, you had to be noble born. You had to be. But you also had to be noble in your soul.
Right.
Both. Today, we want to say the birth doesn't matter so long as you're noble in your soul, in your actions. But back then, and people imagined back then that it was the other way around, that it didn't matter how capable you were so long as you were the right heir of somebody. But that's not true. You actually had to be both. This happens so many times, like Sir Gareth of Orkney showed up in King Arthur's court as Beaumains, the kitchen hand, and then he had to prove himself to be knighted. And when he did, Sir Lancelot said, "Now tell me your birth and your lineage before I knight you." And he had to tell him, "I'm actually the son of King Lot. I'm Gawain's brother. I'm King Arthur's nephew." And he said, "Okay, good. Now I can knight you because you're of noble birth, lineage, and now you've done great deeds. You can be a knight now."
It reminds me of Siegfried also. We talked about that in the Nibelungenlied. He doesn't just step into his father's crown or his throne. He has to earn it first. And it's not like there's someone else forcing him to earn it. He knows this is what is done. This is what is required.
You have to prove yourself. The man feels it, but the man feels it, not the coward, not the cheat.
True. Yeah, that's good. Robin, in turn, shows his gratitude to the king for this by pulling out his harp and singing a Christmas hymn. So he has this harp that he's made with his own hands, and he sings to everyone there. And his father and his mother, their son is a cripple now, but they see this. They see what he's done. They see his noble heart. They see what he's capable of. And his father he sees that he's acquired these useful skills, and he's not disappointed. And his mother she says, "Actually, I'm relieved that you're a cripple because now I won't lose you in the wars." She's like, "I'll always have my son." So, obviously no parents want their child to be a cripple. But they are able to see that you can still have virtue and meaning and a purposeful life, even with a handicap.
Wow.
After this, Robin's father and mother decide, well, there's really not much point you remaining here to serve Sir Peter because you'll never become a knight. That's just the truth that they have to face. But they're not disappointed. They're like, well, just come home with us. Come home, be our son. Brother Luke is to accompany them as Robin's tutor, which Robin loves. They've become close. And as they're packing up to leave, Robin his biggest fear has been removed. His biggest fear was that his parents would reject him for being a cripple. But now, because of the things that have happened, because of what he's accomplished, he no longer has this fear. He's at rest. He's more confident in who he is and what he can do. And the book ends with Brother Luke telling him that he has found his door in the wall. So the door in the wall, my idea of that is that it can almost be a portal. You step from one place through the door into another. So this can be in many different ways: to serve others, to do your duty, to just progress through life, or even to make an escape or to start an adventure. And when thinking of the story itself, there's the door in the wall of the castle at Sir Peter's, which ends up being the means by which Robin saves the entire castle. So he could have remained in the immediate safety of the castle, but he chose to step through the door in the wall into uncertainty and danger, but also into bravery and self-confidence. And that was his door.
There was literally a door on the wall.
There literally was.
And it was a metaphor.
Yes.
That's amazing. It's a pretty good story. This is good because when you encounter misfortune, there's always the possibility of despair and self-pity, mourning, asking for handouts. But he doesn't do that. Life back then was harder. It forced you not to be able to do that. But he could have, because he was noble. He had servants. He could have just lived a life of ease, being taken care of. He was in that bed pouting at the beginning of the story, and he even threw food away. But now he's become somebody who is quite capable of great deeds, entertainment, praise, honor, service. Yeah,
and I think it's important that it was Brother Luke who really taught him most of these things.
Yeah.
It was the church, it was the religious influence in his life that didn't let him give into despair.
Right. I appreciate the realism in the story. I was thinking that this was going to be some kind of whimsical child's book. I don't know until I hear it. But there's a realism to it. He doesn't get by because adults just cover his mistakes. People take his words seriously. They take his actions seriously. He has to work through the real consequences of his disability. There's no God in the machine that comes around and just saves him out of nowhere. He actually has to go and do this. There are a lot of children's stories where there's some child who has very small abilities and they try something and fail, but oops, it's okay because an adult saved you out of that. Or some cow came along and horse or picked you up, and whatever magical thing that just fixes it all. But none of that happens in the story. There's a realism to it. And I think that children actually prefer that. Doesn't mean we can't have magic and enchantment in stories, but if the magic and enchantment is used to solve all the problems that determination and struggle can't solve or won't solve, I think that's not good. This book, in other words, makes strong children. Children read this sort of story and come away stronger themselves. And that's what we all want as parents. We want our children to read stories that are entertaining, but not ones that entertain them at the cost of making them weaker to the realities that they have to face. And that's where this book really shines.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you for listening. If you're enjoying this content, please consider supporting the show by subscribing at arslibri.substack.com. Your support enables me to produce this content. Subscribers also get bonus episodes, detailed book lists, and more.